I've spent the weekend watching The Crown, the last 6 episodes. Um, it's really well done. And the last episode, which I finished last night, was very moving. It was quite a. I was surprised that it looks like they've reached the end, because there's quite a big lump missing for me. But I think maybe for legal and privacy reasons, they weren't able to perhaps go into depth of the two marriages of the princes. But they do show in one of the episodes the meddling of Kate's mother. I want to call her Kate Middleton rather than Middleton. Her mum really meddled. But the ending last night was really moving, and I won't say any more much about it because I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't seen it. Very moving, very cleverly done, really thoughtful, and Imelda Staunton makes a really good. I mean, she's played the Queen in several of the episodes, and she just is an amazing actress. So I really enjoyed that. I'm always disappointed when it ends because I binge on it. That's the problem. 6 episodes, and I watched them all, I don't know, from Saturday to Sunday. I started reading, I said I would start trying to read some Discworld and some Pratchett, because Mark is a real Pratchett fan. He has all of the books, and every year we order a calendar. Our calendar has arrived, and I love the characters. I'm always intrigued when Mark tells me about a character. Cut me own float dibbler, and so I thought I'd give it another go. So I started reading Unseen Academicals, and I really struggled. I just couldn't hang on to the story enough to feel like it was flowing. Now, that might be because it was at the beginning of me with COVID, and I wasn't really reading in bed. I was just going to bed and going to sleep. It could be that, but it just didn't get me. I couldn't get it to flow. So I gave up. After probably 2 chapters. And I thought, I need to read something that will engage me. So I decided to go back to Ken Follett, who, in one of his books, the book before this one, the one I'm reading now, is called The Armour of Light. It's Kingsbridge chapter or episode 4. I don't know what he did before that, but I didn't get into it. I didn't like it, the one before. This one's really got me, and I'm really reading it and choosing to read it when I could be doing something else, which is unlike me. I think, I'm going to go read my book. I like books like that. The only problem is I'm going to run out soon because I'm reading it more than I normally do. And I use Goodreads, and it's a reading challenge every year. I think I set it quite high this year, but you can reset it. I reset it a few months ago to 25 books, and I'm 3 books behind for the end of the year. So I need to get a finger out. I've got coming up, I've also got, which will be a quick read, is The Last Devil to Die by Richard Osman. And that's the book 4 of the Thursday Murder Club. That will be good. He writes they're really good books. I really enjoy those. So if I get the Kingsbridge one under my belt, get the Richard Osman one done, and get one more book done, I might meet my challenge by the end of the year. That's the plan. The bread was just awful. So I did it in the bread machine, the dough in the bread machine, thinking, that'll save me mixing it and stretching and folding. But when it came to getting it out of the bread machine, I just couldn't. And I put my hand in to pull it out so that I could get the paddle out. And I just had a handful of dough, my left hand, which is the hand I need to do all the other things. And I'm just like stuck. And Mark was there, and I had to get him. I mean, they did this at the very beginning of my sourdough journey. I had to get him to rescue me. So he started scraping out as much as he could, and I started scraping off my hand with a spatula. The problem is that my right hand is not my dominant hand, so that was difficult. So that was a pain, and I put it into my square dough proving box. Having not manipulated it on the board, normally you do a bit of manipulating and folding on the board. I didn't do that, went straight into the box. It took quite a long time to double in size. I tipped it out ready to do the whole folding and manipulating, and it just wouldn't. It was just, I just couldn't. It just, well, I can't explain it. It was just too soft. Probably a bit wet, and I couldn't do anything with it. So I had to use the bench scraper to bring it all together and then just dump it into the panettone. And that's in the fridge. I'm going to cook it in a minute. I have no idea what it's going to be like because I didn't get any chance to sort of tighten. You're supposed to sort of fold it and roll it and pull the surface tension together over the top. There was no chance to do that. So yeah, I'll cook it in a minute. Not sure how that'll turn out. So that's that. I think Mark had gone back to bed yesterday afternoon and got up at just before 6. And he's not very good at recognising or reporting on how well he is or whatever. I noticed last night that he was more around, more present. It's difficult to explain. He hadn't been for a couple of days. He'd been less present and unavailable emotionally because he felt so unwell. He looked really unwell. But yesterday evening he seemed better. I managed to get him to empty the dishwasher, which was good. And actually I was struggling. I took my CPAP machine apart yesterday afternoon and cleaned it all and was struggling last night to put it back together, to thread it all together. And he came round and just took it and did it. So he felt willing and able to do that, which is how he would normally be. So that's a good thing. That's an indicator to me that he's improving. I've slept really well overnight. I think I've had nearly 8.5 hours, which is pretty amazing. What else yesterday? I opened everything up. It was a beautiful afternoon, and I thought I need to change the air. And I know it's only us in here, and we've already got the virus anyway, but I thought it might be helpful to change the air. So whilst he was in bed, I went up and opened up in the bedroom as well, so that the windows were open up there. But I came down and I opened all the doors back and front to get an airflow through. The temperature dropped in here from 20 to 15 quite quickly, but it was beautiful, and I sat out and bathed my pineal gland in the sun for about, I think I probably had a bit of a meditation for about 10 minutes. It was really lovely. I feel really, really lucky that I can go and do that I can go and sit outside. It was really peaceful, very little traffic. What was it yesterday, Sunday afternoon? Very little traffic, and just sat and meditated for about 10 minutes in the sun, whilst all the air was changing in here. It was a good thing to be able to do. And there was another beautiful sunset last night. I really find it hard when there's a beautiful sunset and I want to stand and look and watch. I wasn't actually suitably dressed. It was really cold, really cold. It was going to drop to below 0 last night. I have a job to drag myself away from sunsets. It's funny, isn't it? Because what am I, 68? I've probably had hundreds of sunsets in my life, and let's hope I have hundreds more. But it doesn't ever, it's one of those things that you never stop appreciating, which is really lovely. It's really lovely not to sort of think, oh, it's just another sunset. I really appreciate them, and I feel really lucky to be able to do that. And I sort of think about how, if I lived in a city, I might miss that, or if I lived in I don't know, in a place with very few windows or without a garden, or I know that I'm really lucky. So today is Monday, and there is nothing planned. I've got a large shopping order on the go, which is going to cover Christmas shopping as well, and I'll have that delivered in the week. I won't have it delivered today. I can have it delivered onto the table outside, so that's okay. So yeah, there's no turkey at the moment. I'm waiting for them to restock. But it's not that important. I said to Mark, because he likes, on Christmas Day, he likes turkey and chestnut stuffing sandwiches for supper. And I always do that because it's for him, that's Christmas. I said to him last night, I reckon if I made a sandwich with pork, finely sliced pork, and turkey, chestnut stuffing, I don't think you'd notice the difference. He said, well, I might. I don't think you would unless I told you. So I think if I can't get turkey, I'll do that, because I have got a nice joint of pork that I'll cook anyway, that I picked up from the farm the other day. So if I cook that, I don't really need to worry about turkey, which is, I don't buy a turkey. I had planned to, I think, before we came down with COVID, but, and now I'm just going to I would buy a turkey joint or something, roast. But it's just a waste of money, really, isn't it? And it's not nice. Whereas the pork I've got is organic, nice grass-fed, prairie-fed food. Perhaps I won't wait for the turkey to be ready. I'm leaving the shopping list open because I don't want to close it and order it and then find there's things I've forgotten to put on there. That really irritates me. And I can't go back and change it once I've paid for it. So I leave it open for a bit longer. So that, Monday, that's it really. It's 20 to 10. All the shutters are still closed. I better go and open those. I better go and look like I'm up. Go and let the chickens out. I found 3 mice down there yesterday. Not happy about that. And there is something still digging in there. Really don't understand, unless it's the mice living under there. We had rats living under there once. I've not seen any rats, thank God. I have a question. Typical me, isn't it? Right at the end. I think that's how my process is. That's what it is. That's my process. It's like I get all that out of the way and then I have a bit of a thought process. I have a question. I pick up. I'm deleting a lot of comments, blocking or removing a lot of people. There's a whole COVID denial thing going on, and I haven't looked at it thoroughly and read around it, and I don't understand. I don't understand why people would deny it. It seems like a big thing to some of them. I get people shouting at me, "Why are you advertising you've got COVID? Why?" Like, well, I'm not. Well, I am, but I'm talking about our life and what's going on in our life, and that's what's going on in our life at the moment. But there seems to be a stigma or some shame around having COVID, is what I'm picking up. And I don't understand it. But I'm reminded, and I'm not sure that she watches this, because she emails me now and again, and I don't get a sense that she's watching these. They did watch them to begin with, but they're not now. A friend of mine who was living in the very far south in France several years ago had a really bad cough a flu-like illness in very late 2019. And when I spoke to her several months later and said to her, I think you had COVID, I didn't have COVID. Very vehement about denying it was COVID. And I didn't understand why she would so vehemently suggest that she didn't have it. Because if somebody had said that to me and I'd had what she'd had, I'd go, oh, you might have done. You could be. But she was like, I did not have COVID. And I don't understand whether there's a stigma or some shame in having it. I don't understand. So maybe somebody can explain it to me who I won't later block. So not in that shouty, don't know, somebody else shouting at me, stop doing the tests. Why? So maybe somebody can explain that to me. What is it? Is there shame in having COVID? I don't know. Yeah, I think that was that is the question. And I will continue to remove the shouty people and the nasty people. It's much better than engaging with them. It's working really well for me. And that's what I'm going to do. So, here we go. Have a good Monday and keep well and safe. Oh, I was going to use my mouse to turn you off.